What's up, guys? We're back. Walking outside today. Let's go. So I read a quote recently and stated that growth isn't always about adding more. Sometimes it's about releasing more. Something along the lines of that. And I think that is quite powerful. You know, I believe in Western culture, the type of capitalistic society we live in. It's pretty common to always do more, add more, be more. And, you know, it's a type of cynical cycle that I discuss about in my book. And in the book, I'm talking about this certain type of release of internal baggage and weight and thoughts and emotions and all these heavy things that one may carry around, and almost everyone does on a daily basis, sometimes subconsciously without even knowing. And I really do firmly believe that true growth is about releasing rather than gaining more. And you know, there's some quote that I heard from a friend. He told me it was like, you know, wealth is not a measurement of how much you have, rather, you know, how little you can have and be happy. Something along those lines. And I believe it's very true, and that's very powerful if you can be happy with, you know, just being outside like I am right now and getting some fresh air and enjoying your body if you have a physically able one, that is, or if you don't and you're on a wheelchair, like if you can just enjoy the fact that, you know, you can breathe today and you're alive. And, you know, if you have sight, that's something to be appreciative of. You can see the sun, you can see the trees, you can see all the beautiful colors that's on this planet. And yeah, and that quote hit especially hard for me recently, especially through writing this book and this creative journey. The type of work that I'm used to is just do more, you know, work harder. And, you know, with some things that have been going on with me, it's pretty easy to get caught up in that whole do more mindset, especially if you have some things internally you're trying to avoid. And it may seem productive because you're doing a bunch of work on the external front, but that's what turns people into like workaholics, gymaholics. You know, are they doing because they believe it is for good, or are they doing, or is it some mental loophole that they've created to justify avoiding their problems by overcompensating through something that's admirable by many in, you know, Western culture, you know, being a hard worker, right? And you know, I found a lot of benefit, without making that much of a mental note, that growth can be doing less a lot of the time, but consciously slowing down and doing less instead of always just trying to do more and be more. And you know what, to whoever out there who's, you know, struggling to work on themselves and improve themselves, and maybe you're caught up in your head today and thinking, oh, I wish I did more or this or that, but you know, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe you did enough today. All right, and maybe today was enough and you are enough, and you don't need to do more. You don't need to be more. That will come naturally, and you don't have to figure it all out. And taking some time for yourself to just be proud of yourself and be proud of what you've done so far in your life and where you're at. You know, if you're on this planet breathing today, I gotta say, that means you've made it through every damn difficult experience of your life. You know, like, if you have a breath that you're inhaling today, that means you've done it so far. You've made it through everything. And if you're going through something right now, you know, you have 100% success rate is all I want to say. And you're doing great. You know, I'm taking this video to document some of my thoughts and some of these things that I like to be addressing under certain ways, in my book, but I'm also taking this video because I think I also need to hear the same thing right now. So it helps me talk it out by talking with you guys. So, you know, today's good. Today's enough. And you don't always need to do more to grow. A lot of true growth happens through doing nothing and being comfortable with yourself when you're doing nothing, being proud of yourself when you're doing nothing. When you can't, when you're having a bad day, you don't always need to be working on yourself on an external front and trying to do more and be more. Maybe just going for a walk today like I'm doing is something that you're doing to grow and work on yourself. And it can be, you know, you can think about it like that and you can choose to live your life that way. And, you know, you are enough, okay? And you got it all right now. You don't need a person, you don't need a job, or like, well, you need a job probably, but you know, you don't need the validation you get from getting a job. You don't need to get a certain job to feel proud of yourself. You don't need a certain person to feel connected and complete. You know, you don't need some certain monetary thing to fit in. Like you are you, and that's amazing and that's wonderful, and as perfectly imperfect as it is, you know, that's enough. And you don't need to try as hard, and sometimes it's okay to just slow down and release a little, and that's growth, and that matters. All right, but you know, hey, same token, at the end of the day, like I said, these are all just thoughts, these are all just my beliefs and I'm just trying to bounce some off you guys and, you know, talk them out loud. And, you know, I'm still growing, I'm still learning, but I'm trying to write about it too. And like I said again, me being able to externally voice myself and, you know, just put any sort of positivity out, or what I believe to at least be positive. You know, my intentions, I believe, are pure. You know, I'm not doing this for likes or subscribers or anything like that. To those of you that have been supporting me in the little ways, I do appreciate that, of course. And yeah, you know, it helps to just talk about these things out loud. So maybe one of you guys will find this of use, maybe not, maybe you disagree. Let me know, entertain me, please. Drop me a comment. You know, I'm about to go home and eat some dinner and like watch some bullshit on YouTube until I feel like falling asleep. So yeah, message of the day: growth is not always in doing more. It can also be in doing less and being okay with that lessness and yourself. Okay, you guys are doing great. I'm trying, you know, working on myself every day. I love myself, and I love all of you guys out there. You know, keep that love big always. And yeah, until next time, see ya.